So the policies and reforms that were put in place over the past few years have laid a foundation for growth for India. We're talking about things like indirect tax reform, goods and services tax. We're also talking about the bankruptcy code that have been put in place, and more recently, corporate tax cuts. So what we believe is that the foundation that was set, especially now, or what we've seen is the impact from formalization is going to be better infrastructure and healthier private sector banks. The catalyst, what we see is going to be what we like to call the 3 R's. It's going to be recycle, rebuild, and reinvest. So for recycling, we expect that state-owned enterprises, effectively listed companies that are owned by the government, as they start to divest them, this is going to be income and capital that the government can use to effectively apply to infrastructure projects, additional infrastructure projects, additional reforms and policies that can help India. For rebuilding, the corporate tax cut is actually quite significant in the sense that it puts more money into the corporate's hands, which they ultimately can reinvest. So once you rebuild savings of these Indian corporates, they're able to reinvest at maybe invest in projects that are higher ROE. Not only did India cut its corporate tax rate by about 10%, but they also introduced a preferential rate of 15% for new manufacturing capacity. And we believe that this should entice companies to invest to build out manufacturing capacity. Like India, I think China, a lot of the policies that were put in place over the past few years have benefited the economy in 2019, we believe should help in 2020. Some of the policies effectively are making it cheaper or less expensive for businesses to operate, things like VAT cut. Also from a consumption or consumer perspective, they've cut the personal income tax, and they've also reduced the Social Security contribution rate. So this is putting money into the hands of consumers and into the hands of corporates. So for sectors, we put it in terms of thematics. We are looking at consumption upgrade. We're looking at R&D and innovation, and last but not least, policy driven. So when we talk about consumption upgrade, we're looking at sectors like tourism, e-commerce, also education. Within R&D, biotech is one of the areas that we really like, and also basically 5G. When we say 5G, it's more of the supply chain as opposed to the end product. And for policy-driven, this is going to impact different sectors. But for policy-driven, historically, we've really liked environmental protection, and now China medical devices, as policy has been favorable for this particular industry.